Hello, again, or for the first time. Okay, so this is my fourth video in my series about the wall. For those of you who don't know what that is, the wall is a term in the manosphere mostly that refers to women of a certain age who may have had many options when they were younger, who no longer have the same amount of options once they hit a certain age, aka the wall age. So I'll be 43 in what, 4 days? Yeah, in 4 days. So, and I am not married or close to it. So I am one of these women. So I thought, maybe I'll respond to some of it. So in the first video, I said that a lot of this content sort of comes across as a revenge fantasy, where dudes who maybe were turned down when they were younger get to see us get turned down, when we're older. And, anyway, sorry, I just got a text. Or getting turned down when they're older, and it's maybe kind of fun for you guys to sort of laugh at us. And I said it's not really the revenge you might think, because you can never take away from the fact that I had a lot of fun, when I was younger, and I got to do a lot of cool things. And you didn't. So that's that. In the second video, I talked about this idea of getting stuck on our highest setting. And I said, I don't think it's so much a matter of getting stuck on our high setting. Most of us are not dating NBA players. Most of us are dating people in our communities. We really are. I mean, at least as far as I know. So in that video, I said, it's not so much that we're dating out of our league, it's that we're dating in our league and there's something wrong with our league. And that's not just the men in our league, that's all of us. So men and women in my league, we've got some work to do, okay? And then the third video, I talked about standards. So there I said, look, and it kind of tacks on to the third video. I said, look, we might not meet our own standards, but that's okay. Why? Because why should we do anything at this stage in life that doesn't add value to our life? And if we have a lot of experiences of dealing with our own peers, right? Dealing with our matches, dealing within our league, we might, if our league is problematic, and it is, if, those of us who are in the same boat, we might not have the bandwidth to deal with our equal, with our match. And that seems fair. We're not saying we're entitled to have these people who are, better at certain things than we are. We're just saying, hey, it's not really worth it unless they're meeting those standards. And that seems fine. Today I want to talk about something related. They're all related, right? So I want to talk about this idea that post-wall women, we have too much baggage. Okay, so yes, we do. And it goes both ways. So I am not on apps anymore, and I do not plan on going back on apps. Not that I think I'm too good for we're all in this together, okay? For a variety of reasons, I just don't want to do it. But one thing I noticed when I was on the apps was that guys my age and older were really mean. And guys who were a lot younger, too young for me, were really nice. So I can relate to guys my age who say, no, I want to date younger. And I know we're supposed to be mad about it, and maybe there are reasons to be mad about it. I decided I don't want to date somebody over 10 years younger. Maybe that's a topic for another day. But anyway, yeah. So I'm with you. I see that after a certain age, there's a lot of baggage, and I can understand not wanting to deal with that. Not wanting to deal with some stranger's baggage, with their exes and their heartbreak and all of that. I get that. So we do have to ask ourselves, what would we rather do? Work through our own baggage and work and someone else's, or be alone? And that's a genuine question. Maybe we want to be alone. Maybe. So I kind of thought maybe being alone was maybe better than dealing with someone's baggage until about a year ago. What happened? Well, a little over a year ago, I didn't meet this person, and I think that does make a big difference, because I've known this person for a long time, but I developed a sincere desire to work through someone else's baggage. along with my own. Now, that situation didn't or isn't working out, but at least thinking about it made me think, hey, look, like, at least, like, made me think. Stuttering. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, I would work through this person's baggage with them. So even though that didn't work out or isn't working out, it demonstrated to me that at least it's possible. At least it's possible that there could be somebody out there who's cool enough or I like enough that I'm willing to work through their baggage and my baggage. So, yeah. All right. So what do I have to say here? Right. So I don't see why we can't like learn to love ourselves in all our flaws and love another person in all of their flaws through the wreckage of our past. I do now see that that is possible. So maybe the only thing ahead of us is solitude. And when I think about it, that's not even, and I'm not even saying for ourselves that we're better off alone. I'm saying maybe we just all need to like take a breather, think about what we did wrong, and then hope, all of us, men and women, hope that someone is willing, to give us a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance. I'm not saying one specific person, but, anybody that we meet that's our age, it's going to be our second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chance at, finding that life partner. So, all right. What's my conclusion here? Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. So, hitting the wall has shown me just how precious and miraculous it is to ever meet anyone who wants to share our burdens with us ever. So, when you're younger, when you're like a young woman, especially if you're kind of cute, you do have a lot of options. And you do end up kind of taking the odds of meeting someone like that for granted because you can always replace them, but you can't. So that's my big learning. That's my big lesson from this phase in my life, that connecting with someone in a way where you guys can, live your lives together is a precious miracle. And, maybe those of us who are in our mid 40s without that, maybe we blew it, but, can't always get what you want, and sometimes you get what you need. So like, this phase has given me a lot of appreciation for just the possibility of finding somebody worth working through all of that difficult stuff to be with. So yeah, that's my 4th video. My 5th and last video on this series is going to be, what is it going to be on? It's going to be on, what is it on? Oh, everyone's favorite. Feminism in modern dating, modern women. Stay tuned. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. I've been optimizing for the enemy's algorithm, and I've gotten, some mean comments, but for the most part, I've gotten really thoughtful and supportive comments. So thank you for that. I don't know, like and subscribe. I don't know if I'm going to make a whole job out of this, but this has been cool and fun, and thank you for tuning in.